Tomorrow, the 2026 FIFA World Cup finally begins. In less than 24 hours, more than 83,000 fans will pack into the legendary Azteca Stadium in Mexico City for the opening match between Mexico and South Africa. It is a stadium where football history has been written by legends, a stadium where unforgettable moments changed the sport forever. But as the countdown reaches its final hours, one question hangs over this tournament more than any tactical battle, more than any star player, and more than any trophy prediction. Can football overcome the chaos surrounding this World Cup? For months, controversy has followed this tournament everywhere it goes. Political disputes, travel restrictions, ticketing problems, administrative confusion, and on the final day before kickoff, those problems exploded into what may be the most dramatic 24 hours of the entire build-up. The first shock arrived from Miami. Omar Abdulkadir Artan, a Somali referee selected for the 2026 World Cup, was preparing for the biggest moment of his career. At just 34 years old, he had climbed through the ranks of African football and earned a place among the world's elite officials. His selection was historic. No Somali referee had ever officiated at a men's FIFA World Cup before. For Somalia's football community, it was a moment of immense pride. For Artan, it was the reward for years of dedication and sacrifice. But before he could even step onto a training field, everything changed. After arriving at Miami International Airport, Artan was reportedly subjected to additional immigration inspection. Despite traveling with official documentation and FIFA accreditation, he was ultimately denied entry into the United States. Within hours, his World Cup dream was over. Instead of preparing for matches, he was placed on a flight home. FIFA later confirmed that he would not participate in the tournament and emphasized that immigration decisions belong to the host country, not football's governing body. Just like that, the first Somali referee in World Cup history was removed before a single ball had been kicked. What happened next made the story even more emotional. Artan did not react with anger. He did not lash out publicly. Instead, he thanked FIFA and his fellow officials for their support. He promised to continue working hard and said he would focus on future opportunities. The dignity of his response only made the situation more painful. A man who spent years chasing a dream lost it in a matter of hours. The football world reacted quickly. Among those speaking out was former England star Ian Wright, and what he said would become one of the defining phrases of this World Cup. A phrase that would spread across football media within hours. A phrase that perfectly captured the growing mood surrounding the tournament. This is a World Cup of chaos, and as the day continued, events would only make that statement feel even more accurate. Ian Wright has seen football at every level. He has played the game, analyzed it, lived it, and witnessed some of the sport's greatest moments. So when he speaks, people listen. And on the eve of the 2026 World Cup, Wright could no longer stay silent. After learning about the situation involving Somali referee Omar Abdulkadir Artan, the former England striker posted a passionate reaction on social media that quickly spread across the football world. His frustration was impossible to hide. According to Wright, every few hours another troubling story seemed to emerge from this tournament. Fans facing difficulties, officials facing difficulties, journalists facing difficulties, and now even referees. Wright admitted he found himself laughing at the situation, but not because it was funny. In reality, he said, nothing about it was funny at all. He questioned whether this was truly the spirit of football. Was this really how the world's biggest sporting event should be organized? Was this how hosts should welcome participants from across the globe? Wright also pointed to another growing concern: cost. Many supporters have already described this as one of the most expensive World Cups ever. Travel costs are enormous. Accommodation prices have skyrocketed. Match tickets have become increasingly difficult for ordinary fans to afford. For millions of football supporters, simply attending a game has become a financial challenge. And according to Wright, the latest controversies only added to the frustration. But as powerful as his comments were, an even bigger story was about to emerge.
Buddy, just got a little something on my chest. I could ask some people out there. Is there ever a tournament more disrespected? More disrespected than the African Cup of Nations? There's no greater honor, none, as a sports person, than representing your country. The coverage is completely tinged with racism, completely tinged. We played our Euros across 10 countries in the middle of a pandemic, and there's no issue at all. But Cameroon, a single country hosting a tournament, is a problem. You're getting journalists asking players, players getting asked if they will be honouring the call-ups for their national teams, if they will be honouring. Imagine if that was an English player representing the Three Lions. Have you ever heard anybody asking an English player if will he be honouring the call-up? Can you imagine the furore? Loads of the best players in Europe right now are African. And if we love them at club level, why can't we love them at international level like their counterparts from across the globe? Why can't we? Why is this tournament constantly getting so much flack? I've got to say shout out to the countries that have qualified, the players like Sebastian Haller, who are taking a stand against the media backlash. Media, plus Patrick Vieira. Patrick Vieira coming out and speaking about this. And this is, again, why it's important that you do have a black manager who can let people understand where his roots are and how important this tournament is for African people. The shaming has gone on for too long. I just want to wish Cameroon all the success in hosting this tournament. And like I say to the players, all the very, very best to you and the fans.
Just hours later, attention shifted toward Iran, and what followed stunned many observers. Iran's Football Federation released a statement claiming that FIFA had revoked its entire supporter ticket allocation for all three of the nation's group stage matches. If true, the implications were enormous. Traditionally, every qualified nation receives a percentage of stadium tickets specifically reserved for its supporters. These tickets allow loyal fans to follow their national team during the tournament. For Iran, that allocation represented thousands of seats, thousands of opportunities for supporters to stand behind their team on football's biggest stage. But according to the Federation, those tickets were suddenly no longer available. Not reduced, not limited, completely unavailable. The statement claimed that under the current circumstances, the Federation could not offer a single ticket to its supporters. Not one. For a nation competing in its 7th World Cup, the situation was extraordinary. And it became even more complicated when considering everything Iran had already faced. Many Iranian supporters had been affected by travel restrictions long before the tournament began. Several Federation officials reportedly struggled to obtain access and travel permissions. The team itself established a training base in Mexico rather than inside the United States. Players would prepare in one country and travel across borders on match days before returning afterward. Now, according to the Federation's claims, supporters were facing yet another obstacle. The football itself had almost become secondary. Instead of discussing tactics, formations, or star players, conversations were increasingly focused on administration, logistics, and access. And that was exactly why Ian Wright's words continued to resonate.